Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing 5 things we learned whilst watching Man United beat Leicester City by 3 goals to 0. In at number 1, Amad Diallo is the truth. Like genuinely, this kid is so good, man. I mean, how he's not been starting games for us this season is an absolute mystery to me. Like, honestly, Eric Ten Hag has got blood on his hands because this kid went from being player of the month in August to being benched for games after game after games by Eric Ten Hag. And Ruud van Nistelrooy seemed to make the same mistake when he came in as interim coach. The first 2 games of his tenure, he didn't start Ahmed. In fact, if anything, he had him on the bench and brought him on as substitutes. But when he did bring him on as a substitute, he saw his performances were quite good, and he decided, you know what? Let me start this kid. The next 2 games which were remaining, he started him against PAOK in the Europa League and against Leicester City, of course, yesterday. He started him, and in both games that Amad Diallo started. Against PAOK, we also what he did, he got 2 goals, 2 very good goals, the header and the shot from distance. And then yesterday, the assist for Bruno Fernandes' goal. Oh man, this kid, the IQ that this boy has, the level of his technicality is so high. Someone with good close control, not necessarily the most pacey guy, but like for me personally, this kid is head and shoulders above any other winger we have at the club. I genuinely believe he's our best winger, and he's by far our most technical winger at the club. This kid needs to be starting week in, week out for Manchester United. Honestly, Ruud made his mistake in the first 2 games. He didn't start him, but he realized he had made a mistake. He started him, and guess what happened? Ahmad repaid him with very good performances, which helped him win some of the games. But yeah, moving it on from Ahmad and moving on to the next thing we learned whilst watching United last night, Bruno Fernandes. I hold my hands up. I hold my hands up. This is a guy who I've been criticizing heavily, heavily criticizing him. But when it came to yesterday's performance, I have to be honest, he played very well. In as much as I loved Ahmad's performance yesterday and I thought he was very good in creating chances, for me, Bruno Fernandes yesterday was the man of the match. I even did it in my player ratings in the post-match reaction. Go check it out if you haven't already. But I did say that Bruno Fernandes for me was the man of the match. And I may have gone a bit too high and gotten a bit giddy with my player ratings because I gave him a 10 out of 10, which in hindsight, it was a bit too much. Maybe I should have given him a 9, but I still maintain the fact that Bruno Fernandes was very good yesterday, and he was clearly Man United's man of the match, So, again, I feel like the reason why I give him a 10 is because I've given him so much stick, and rightfully so. And don't get it twisted, me giving Bruno Fernandes a high score and calling him man of the match does not mean that I've changed my opinion on him. I still think he's very reckless in position. I think he still likes to hoof the ball a lot. But yesterday, he wasn't doing any of that. He was actually taking care of the ball. He wasn't treating it like it was a grenade that was about to go off. He was looking after the ball, creating chances for the teammates, scored a very good goal from outside the box. Obviously, Ahmad did that nice flick back heel to him, and he just finessed it into the bottom corner. And the goal which we thought he had scored to make it a double or a brace for himself, turned out to be an own goal. But in general, I thought Bruno Fernandes yesterday was very good. And I thought for me personally, he was my man of the match. But yeah, I've got to move on to the third thing we learned whilst watching United yesterday. And still on the subject of good performances, Manuel Ugarte. Yet another player who he's had a very slow start to his career at United. Hasn't looked very good so far since the season started, especially under Ten Hag. But since Ruud has come in and Ruud has basically started him in the double pivot with Casemiro, he's been slowly but surely getting better and better. And from what I saw yesterday, I may have been wrong about this guy. I mean, okay, maybe I'm taking it a bit too far. I said, based on what I had seen prior to yesterday, I said that this guy is not very technical. I said this is a guy who, he looks like he can only make a simple 5-yard pass, but he's not necessarily going to be making the long diagonals, the long range passes or passing forward. My biggest criticism basically of him was he seems to be a safe passer. He either wants to pass it sideways or pass it backwards instead of going forward. Yesterday, I saw a bit of that. I saw him going forward. It may not have been long range passes, but he was making decent passes. He wasn't losing the ball. At some point, I saw him basically flick the ball and turn around, run past the Leicester midfield, and basically pass the ball forward. So, also, not forgetting the amount of tackles he was making yesterday. I saw someone, I think there was a stat on Twitter saying that he made about 8 successful tackles yesterday, which is apparently the highest number of tackles by a Man United player in the last 10 years or something in a single game. So I just thought, you know what? Again, this is someone I've been very, very critical of, and rightfully so. Again, my opinion on him has not completely changed. I still think we need to see more. But going off of yesterday's game alone, he was very, very good. He was very, very, very good. For me, Ugarte, Mazraoui, Bruno Fernandes, and Amad Diallo, those 4 players for me were our standout players yesterday. And like I said, man, fair play, man, Ugarte, fair play. He did his thing. I know it's against Leicester. So now I just want to see him start to develop and grow more and start doing this in the bigger games, you know. I want to see him imposing himself against the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, whoever, all these big six. I want him to start playing like he did yesterday against the big clubs. But so far, based on what I saw yesterday, I think we might have a player in our hands. I really, really do. But anyways, moving on. The fourth thing we learned was watching United yesterday. Alejandro Garnacho comes off the bench and scores yet again. Anyone who's been watching this channel long enough will know I've been saying this. I've always said, for me personally, this kid is better coming off the bench. I think his impact coming on against tired legs, tired defenders, is very good for us. He's very relentless. Don't get me wrong, he can be very wasteful and very frustrating for someone like me. However, he is young and he's very raw. And I think his belief in himself will take him very far in his career because he genuinely believes he's the next big thing. And that might be the case. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But what I will say is, in as much as United fans overhype this kid, there is some potential there. There really is. I mean, he's a typical teenager. Like one moment he's doing something stupid to frustrate you, and then the next moment he's coming up with a banger like he did yesterday to make it 3-0. I mean, that goal, that finish from him was absolute class. Top bins, very good goal. But before then, after he had just come on, he runs in on goal, one-on-one with the defender, and he goes into slips and trips himself and basically injures his wrist. And I'm thinking, come on, Garnacho, bruh, you can't be doing this. But a few minutes later, he scores a very, very good goal. And he didn't celebrate, which tells me something. I think unless you've been living under a rock, you probably saw the incident with him and Planet Fars outside Old Trafford against Pauk just before the game. Planet Fars went on to Garnacho and asked him, bro, please pass the ball better, please play better and score goals for us. Obviously, Garnacho didn't like that, and he responded by saying, well, you should basically be playing. People were basically having a meltdown saying, why would he say that to the player or all that? Guys, I honestly don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it's not like he called him rubbish or said you're not a good footballer. He just said, please pass better, play better for the team, score some goals. But hey, it is what it is. But what I saw, the point I was trying to make was, what I saw as soon as he scored that banger, he didn't even go and celebrate like he usually would. He just basically looked upset and he walked away. And I had to see a few of the players, Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, consoling him after scoring the goal and after the game. You know, but basically, if Garnacho's going to let fans get to him, I don't know. Maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs criticism from the fans. That way, he's gonna feel he needs he's got a point to prove. I don't know. I mean, I know some players use criticism from fans as fuel to actually perform better and silence us. So if Garnacho is that type of player, then hey, so be it, bro. Because if it means that we criticize him and he goes and has an absolute brilliant performance whenever he comes on, whether he starts the game or comes off the bench, I'm here for it. I'm not saying people might just criticize him unnecessarily, but the way I saw it, there was constructive criticism, and it's clearly gotten to him because he didn't even want to celebrate with the fans. So, Garnacho, if it means you're pissed, remain pissed as long as you score goals for us. I remember Angry Rooney for Man United. Angry Rooney was something else. He would just smash goals in, play with this fire in his belly, and if that means that's what we're going to get with Garnacho, I'll take it. I'll take it. By the way, I'm not trying to compare Rooney to Garnacho. I'm just saying that some players live off the criticism from from the fans. When things are going too well, they relax. But when they get criticized by the media and the play and the fans, they seem to perform better. So if that's what we're gonna get from Garnacho, by all means, my brother, do your thing. But anyways, moving on to the fifth and final thing we learned whilst watching Man United defeat Leicester City yesterday. Ruud van Nistelrooy wins his last game as interim manager of Manchester United. And this was beautiful to see, man. Like, we played very, very well in the first 15, 20 minutes. I know it's not the whole game, but for the game in general, yesterday, I thought that was our best performance of the season. I genuinely did, especially in the first half, the first 20, 25 minutes. I thought we were very, very good. We were all over Leicester. We created chance after chance. We scored goals. We looked good. Everything was just well. And to be fair, the players kind of knew that it was Ruud's last game as interim manager before Ruben Amorim comes in. So it was like they wanted to send him out on a high. And I think that was absolutely perfect because Ruud van Nistelrooy is a legend of the club. Now, to see him come in and do the job that he did, it was beautiful to see. 4 games, 3 wins, 2 clean sheets, 1 draw against Chelsea. Remains undefeated. For me, I know he didn't exactly set the world alight as a Man United interim manager, but he did enough to actually get us some good results and bring some positivity back into the club, because when Ten Hag was here, everything was just bad. It was all doom and gloom. So to see Ruud van Nistelrooy leave his last game as interim manager with a win, a 3-0 win and a clean sheet, very, very happy with that. And I'd like to thank Ruud van Nistelrooy. I know he's been making it very, very clear. He's been very vocal about how he wants to stay on as part of the assistant coaches under Amorim. And earlier on, I saw a video of Ruben Amorim's private jet landing in Manchester. So he's arrived, and apparently we're going to get a decision soon. Probably by the time I release this video, the decision will already been made of whether or not Ruud is going to be staying or whether he's going to be leaving. But for me personally, I love Ruud as a legend. I think he's done enough for the club. I'd like to see him go get a job as first team manager elsewhere, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, basically those are the 5 things we learned whilst watching United yesterday. So yeah, man, let me know what you guys thought about the game yesterday. Let me know, leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.